So last night I finished Dante's Inferno.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. I finished the Inferno, not the Divine Comedy.
Okay, just the Inferno.
Just the Inferno.
And
I have a question.
okay,
I know we're going to talk about the stupid book at some point.
I like how you're gonna ask a question like I have the answer to anything Dante's Inferno related. If anything, I should be asking you questions.
More than anything, I just want your input on this because I found something peculiar.
All right.
So this is like Dante's version of hell, but it's all like Catholicism at the time, right? So this is basically based off the Bible of the time.
I would assume so.
So
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Mother Mary,
Yeah.
and Christian God.
Yeah.
So why did, especially the ending of the Inferno, deal so much with Zeus, as Zeus was a real thing? Well, Jupiter, they go by the Roman gods, and Jove and all that shit. But it just went on with like, because when I got to the giant section,
Oh yeah,
it just went full on the giants and Olympians and Titans and gods.
Yeah, because there was like some Hercules talking there.
Yeah, Hercules was involved, and I guess one of the giants a couple of the giants pissed off Zeus, aka Jupiter. Like, why? So they chained him up, and then there was like Nimrod was a giant. I'm pretty sure Nimrod was just a king. I don't think he was actually a giant.
Yeah.
Though they made him out to be a Nimrod, like he's a moron. But I didn't understand that aspect of it, because like a big part of this is people just defying God or not believing in God or anything dealing with that. But then if Zeus exists, like the first level of hell were those people that were born before Christianity and Jesus, so they just immediately went to hell because they couldn't believe in a God that didn't exist yet, or to them they didn't know about. But the gods they did believe in are apparently real in this universe, so why the fuck I don't get it. What's the echelon?
Well, do we know where Dante falls into with the what his faith is?
I think he's a Catholic.
I mean, it would make sense, but
yeah, because it's all the the popes and shit.
Yeah,
and Italians are Catholic. What kind of Catholic compared to now Catholics? I don't know, but I just thought it was very weird that you have these.
I mean, unless if maybe he was trying to say that those false gods are in hell, maybe.
But he didn't say they were in hell. Just the ones that defied them are in hell. Like the ones that defied Zeus are in hell.
Maybe it's just one god. Look.
But he used gods plural multiple times, and it's the gods of antiquity. I don't understand.
Well, do you think it could do anything with the translation? Maybe.
No, because that John Ciardi explains it. At the end and all the notes, he explains everything
except the gods thing.
He didn't go into why, unless it was in the introduction. I just glossed over it. I do not remember any aspect of why these gods exist. Because if you read the Inferno, they're just real.
Yeah.
But then we're not to believe in them because we're supposed to believe in the one and almighty God. So where does Zeus fall? Is Zeus not the God? I thought he was God. Does Odin come into the picture? The All-Father? I'm just confused. Or is Zeus supposed to just be a previous version of the God they worship now? I don't know, because it's not written like that's the case. It's written like the mythology of the Greeks and the Trojan War and everything Virgil covered in the Aeneid all happened for real. Like, that's the way this is written. So I'm very confused because that's all mythology.
I mean, unless if whenever he's writing it, he's not writing it to be strictly you know what I mean? Maybe it's he's taking artistic liberties, maybe.
Well, it's supposed to all be allegory, so I guess it's not supposed to be taken verbatim as word, you know, it's not scripture. It's supposed to be taken as allegory, you're supposed to take messages away from this, but I just find it's very confusing that just that part mainly is why are those gods in existence in this universe? Because we have all the Greek heroes in hell. So why are the gods they worship not in hell, like you said? Shouldn't they be in hell too as false gods?
Yeah. I mean, unless if there's just game respects game.
I really don't know. So that's something when we do the episode, we're going to have to find some videos to maybe explain that. If there is an explanation, I don't really know.
But how do you feel now after finishing that?
I liked it. I breezed through the last, I don't know how many. The main one that killed me was Canto 8 or Bolgia 8 or the 8th Circle of Hell.
Yeah.
Because it had so many Bolgias. It went on for like fucking 15 of them or some shit. And I was like, Jesus, is this one chapter ever going to end? It was a little bit annoying because it's just like, oh, we got thieves and grafters and defilers and defiers and just like, oh my God.
Now, are you going to go right into the purgatory or you going to give it like, you going to go back to...
I'm going to go into the Purgatorio is what I'm going to do.
Purgatory.
Just add the O. Just add the fucking
Dude, what
O.
is this, fucking SpaghettiOs? Like...
You made that joke last week. It's Purgatory.
Yeah.
Oh, just add the O. It's easy. It's easy. Fucking kill you. You can say Inferno.
You can't... Well, because that's like... I don't know. What am I supposed to say? Infone?
Infern, the Infern, the Divine Comedio. So I don't know if I'm going to enjoy the Paradise or the Purgatory, but I am going to read Purgatorio. I'm just going to continue because if I feel like if I stop, I'm not gonna want to go back.
Because like I haven't been reading that one for a while. I've been trying to get caught up on some of my comics and stuff, and like I'm just like I have to at least finish this part. And then if I have to go on a break then, like where that, where there's a clear break in the thing, like, you know what I mean? But if you're going to start getting caught up, I guess I'll just have to continue to
read it and finish it, and then we can read other stuff. I enjoyed the imagery, but again, it just went so heavy on Italian politics a lot. Ugh. And then, like, I'm glad I read the notes because I was able to pronounce the names, but even after pronouncing them with the phonetics, I still was like, immediately just I forget.
Yeah.
Like the chaw sound was a big one. Like I guess like CIAOO or COIOO, whatever. Fucking things with C or just like a lot of them were chaw. And I was like, oh, I didn't pronounce that at all right. I thought it was like Ciaoy or because it's slightly different from Spanish, the way I pronounce Spanish words. I was like, because I've never studied Italian and I just always did a boopity bop, just a boopity bop.
It's me, Mario.
Stereotypical kind of racist, actually. If you think about it,
and boopity boppity boop then.
And what you did was racist. What I did was authentic. Anyway, we are going to be talking about our writing. Yay! And then that ends the year. This episode actually will drop after New Year's, so we're not drinking. It's Tuesday.
Yeah.
A fucking Tuesday after Christmas.
Tuesday after Christmas, after what I assumed. I mean, you said you had some cancellations, but like I had kind of like a long day.
Yeah, you still have busyness until the season's over. Most of the places I deal with are closed for the holidays.
The season's never over, Caleb.
No, they are not.
One season's about to end. Another season begins.
Hey, can I say something that's a little rude?
Yeah.
Not one person was enthused about my season's greetings. Like when I go up to people and they say Merry Christmas or even Happy Holidays, I just been responding, season's greetings.
Yeah.
Like a dickhead. But nobody, I was just like, oh, okay. Just thumbs up. Okay. It's like, oh, that guy's mentally challenged.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Season's greetings. Oh, fucking idiot. Come on. It's a season. Everything's included in season's greetings.
I'm surprised you just again get some old fuck that just grabbed you by the collar. It's fucking Merry Christmas, Sonny.
Merry Christmas. God. Anyway, so if you're wondering why we didn't do a drunken buffoonery episode for New Year's, which we could have, the reason is because we're closing in on the DBS 100.
Yeah.
And we're going to get fucking turned up for that. So I can't do back
right.
like close to, even in the same month, fucking drunken nonsense.
Well, I mean, you just had one too.
Yeah. If you listen to, it's out there. It was a Christmas special for Arcade Bookshop. I got I don't remember the episode. I just started pulling out bottles of weird liquor. And I was sinking them. If you watch the video, I'd end up sinking in my chair. And I don't know. I was talking about Dickens' greasy butthole and nutsack fungus. And I think that's how we started it.
Just scraping the fungus.
Scraping the fungus. So anyway, folks, check that out. And we will be back momentarily. You are listening to the Drunken Pen Writing Podcast. Yes, you are. I am your host, Caleb James. With me today, as always, Spencer, the Sacramento. I feel like I used Sacramento seersucker once.
I do, yeah.
That wasn't going to be your name, but Sacramento I definitely use. What's another S? Another S in the whole world.
San Antonio?
I'm going to use Saigon.
No, Saigon, yeah.
Spencer, I forgot what they're called now. My brain is getting Alzheimer's. The ladies who suck your soul.
Succubus?
Spencer, the Saigon Succubus Seducer Church. You were seducing the succubus.
Oh, yeah.
Who were supposed to be seducing you. It's impressive. In Saigon.
How the turntables have turned.
You fucked up the fuck up. I don't think it was just how the turntables.
Is it just he just stopped?
Yeah, he just says how the turntables. Michael Scott reference. Office. Season 7, I don't know season.
That makes sense because I do remember a lot of times he'll just like stop in the middle of a thing.
Today is our yearly writing recap. The episode I not lament, but the one I don't look forward to.
No.
The one episode every year that I do not want to get to, but this year is different.
Yeah, a little bit better.
This year I'm actually excited to talk about my writing goals from last year. I feel like maybe it's my headphones. I feel like I'm not loud. Am I loud? Ooh. It was my headphones. When my headphones fall back, all of a sudden I can't hear anything. I don't know why. They're defective even though they're brand new. I had to sneeze. I had to sneeze for 10 minutes now and it won't come.
Sneeze.
I'm looking like
just take one of the cats and rub them in your face.
Anyway, I did not listen to that episode. I never do. I never do the research on my own research. You know, I don't go back and listen to 2023's episode of 2022. I don't know.
Well, to see like how actually close you are to what you said.
Yeah, like 2023's future writing goals, which I don't know about you, but I definitely didn't write them down.
No.
But I do know a few solids. I'm going to start with failures.
Failures.
I'm a big failure normally.
Yeah.
So I said I was going to finish the first draft of my novel.
Yeah.
I got like a little more than halfway, or maybe actually just halfway, and then abandoned it for many other projects.
Yeah.
So that hasn't come to fruition yet. So that'll be.
But though you also a lot of those projects have bared fruit too. So that's
what
thing.
I'm saying. It's not like a complete failure. It's just the actual novel project failure. As in 10 years and counting, the short story collection. Just finishing the final like one story edits and stuff. Failure.
Yeah.
I just haven't been able to put it together. But to be fair, we've been like flirting with just shopping stories around and doing other things. So,
well, and also now too, as we talked previously, as with our interviews and stuff, we've been talking to and getting to know more people that do a lot more like indie publishing and things and stuff like that. So, if anything, I think that it's almost that goes almost a little closer in that aspect now. Is that so? If we do get the edits and everything done. Now we might have some people
have to self-publish it.
We have some people we might be able to talk to, or at least if we do have to self-publish, that people we could get advice and stuff from.
Yeah, and actually maybe get people to do the cover or just various things. So those were the two notable failures. I don't really remember if I had if I did have something else that was a failure. It must have not been a real big one because I don't remember. But my other goals I felt were pretty lofty because coming from having nothing published ever outside of DPW,
right?
I said I wanted to get accepted or published or both 10 times.
Yeah.
For the year.
That's lofty.
I wanted at least one print book to get into one print book, and I wanted to get paid for at least one item.
Yeah.
You know, one story, one poem, one something. And I don't think I mentioned it because this wasn't a goal until like maybe a month or so ago. I want to get an international publication, which I should have just thought of that before. I wasn't shopping stuff internationally until just recently. I'm going to get into that in a second. But as of now, I got 7. So I got 7 total acceptances and almost all. I still got a few that haven't come out yet. See, that's where it's going to be tricky because some of the stuff is actually going to get published in hopefully, I know a few are early, like February.
Yeah.
So they're like early 2024. And there's a few other things that I'm not sure when they're coming out, but acceptance-wise, I did get 7 acceptances, and I really think I'm going to be getting 3 more. Like, cause I have a whole bunch of stuff out there, but there's 3 I feel really good about. One is an international one, so I'm really excited if I could get into that. And then, as far as the paid submissions, I got actually a big payday, a surprising one, but it has not come out yet, and it's driving me fucking nuts. And I've actually talked to a few other people who were put out by this, I won't say publication, but had their stories featured, and some of them submitted around the same time as I did, and they just recently got theirs put out. And then some of them said that they've been put out they had their work put out in the past, and it's taken like 2 years. Yeah. So it's just like very hit or miss. I guess it's just what the needs are. So my story was accepted, so that's good. But I don't get paid until it gets put out. I'm like, God damn it, because that's a good payday.
Well, did you not get anything for the horoscope?
The horoscope, I just got the contributor copy, which is like a $30 book. So I guess it's a good deal. And then I got horoscope 4 as well. So that is another book I'm gonna get. Right. And then the Diabolic Press comes out whenever it does, and that's also print. Yeah. So that's
which then you'll have not only a book but a magazine too.
Yeah. So my goal was 1 print. I got 3. Yeah. That's pretty good. So let's see. I started the year off, I got Spank the Carp, which I was just a joke submission, but apparently it's actually not that easy to get into. Yeah. And also that might count as a print because he does like an anthology every 2 years.
Oh, so that'd be nice if he grabbed it.
I think it's just everything he collects over the. He does. Okay. Because I think he only publishes every 2 months, and it's only like 8 to 10 pieces.
And they're not
poems and stories,
and they're not long, right? They're supposed to be like shorter.
Yeah, so he collects for like 2 years worth, and then he puts them. So I'll probably be in that. So I probably could count that, but I'm just not going to until it comes out, and I forget all about it. But that was how I started. And then I got the Coalition Works, which was a couple poems, and then I got Literally Stories, which is a story I wrote in like literally 5 minutes. And I submitted that, and that got accepted. And that was just despite Bryce, because he got in, and he was just like, because he doesn't really write fiction, but he's like, I got a fiction story published. It's like, well, fuck you. I won't even try, and I'll get a fiction story published. And so I got in that. And then I got, what was that, 3? And then I got accepted into the one thing I can't mention yet. And then I got Horoscope Volume 3, which that dropped in October. And then I'm accepted in Horoscope Volume 4, which comes out February 20th. And then I got Diabolic Press, which I think also comes out in February. Though the time frame on that, unless that guy is really putting those stories together, like he was just ahead of time, like I haven't heard anything. So
and I haven't heard anything because like I also
didn't get a response.
I haven't got a response. I was thinking about maybe like shooting a guy a message on like Instagram or something, just to being like, hey, I'm just wondering if this is accepted or not, because if not, I like the story, I want to try, maybe someplace else if you're not interested in using it.
See, that's tough though, because you don't want to offend the guy, because then he might be like, fuck you then, buddy, rejected. I was going to accept it, now it's rejected.
I mean,
or you could just be like, hey, did you get my email? Because he didn't respond, did he?
No, I don't think. No, I never got a response.
I have a couple things I'm waiting on that didn't respond, and I'm like, did you fucking get it? Like, the email responses are tricky. Yeah, because you don't know when you're pending in those. But like I said, I have 3 other things that I feel confident on. One's a paid anthology, and I really think I'm going to get in that. The other one is I think it's a Canadian magazine. Actually, I think it might. Yeah, or maybe the Canadian magazine's what I'm working on now, a story for. The other one I know is UK based. I guess it's like an anthology, but they they sell out and then they don't sell the book again. Oh, like they sell it in the store, so it's a print book, but I think it's based in like Bristol or somewhere. But I have a really good feeling about that. And then there's another one I have a good feeling about. I should probably look at my spreadsheet, because pretty soon I get to do a 2024 spreadsheet.
And say you should whenever you talk about your fairs, I was like, just go to your what's the thing, the
spreadsheets?
No, the submittable or
submittable.
Yeah, and just I got rejected from this place. I got rejected.
I keep it
50 minutes later, and I got rejected from this place.
Well, an unofficial goal I had, Bryce had this goal of getting rejected 100 times. I didn't really want to get rejected 100 times, but I think I'm like 90 something, I think.
But I mean, that's also like that.
It means you're submitting. That's what it's supposed to do, is keep you submitting. Oh yeah, there's the other one. It was 2-sentence stories. So I probably have a very good shot at that, just because
I
that's
remember
like
you talking about that.
because the magazine is mostly poetry, and I noticed that when they publish the 2-sentence stories, they only publish a couple, so they probably don't get a lot. So but I mean, that's one of those ones like, would I even count that? I mean, I would, but wouldn't tell anybody what it is. Yeah, so that's mainly the good stuff. I entered a good bit of contests this year and lost them all and lost a lot of money. Spent a lot of money on submissions. My one goal of getting published in a major literary journal or magazine of sorts, I have not come to fruition.
Well, what are you talking about? You got a poem published in the New
Yorker.
The New Yorker.
Yeah, but that doesn't come out yet. That's not out until to be determined. What did I say? July 18th. Listen to Arcade Bookshop's Christmas special if you want to know what that's about. So, goals for 2024 for Caleb. Obviously, finish the novel.
Of course.
I'm going to go with another 10 publications.
Okay.
And I'm going to aim for 3 print books this year.
3 print books?
And I'm going to just go 1 literary journal or magazine, because I've really given up on those, because the work they publish is fucking boring, and I just don't think I can fit in, because I always want a story that's like not genre necessarily, but entertaining enough that I could fit in genre.
And honestly, they probably won't even pay attention to you until you get a big enough following grown by doing the stuff that you've been doing. If you can cultivate that into a good little following, that the chances of them actually accepting you would probably be a little bit higher.
Well, here's the thing. If I can get in like these anthologies and stuff that actually have big followings and people read them for real and review them for real, what's the point other than the prestige? And maybe if like some of them pay these like literary journals, like I still want to get in them, but it just, I just don't want to write like super boring shit to get like, oh, divorce or, just like this is like a real story that can happen, and it doesn't, like life, it doesn't even have a definite ending because it's just continuation of boring shit. But yeah, so novel, write some, and I've been really knocking out stories. Like I've been getting pretty pumped up lately. So like the last month, I've probably written 4 or 5 stories.
That's good.
Granted, they're mostly really short, but I've also got a couple things that are longer in the works now that I got some, like we just discussed in probably a few episodes ago. What's really helping with the motivation actually writing is having, oh, here's an anthology, here's a magazine, here's whatever, and they want this theme, they want this word count, and they have this deadline. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I have parameters set in place. I have goals.
Some stability, like.
I'm not just going to start writing a story and then just go, I'll finish it eventually. No, I'm like, I've got to fucking write it. Like this one I'm really excited about. I didn't find out till late. I only have, I have till January 7th to submit it.
Wow.
So I'm like, ooh, and it's, they pay, I think this one pays just 1 cent a word, but up to 7,000 words maybe. Yeah. So that's, that's a good chunk of change if I could get a story submitted. So I'm like, I'm going to try to get 7,000 words. Right. So I've been pumping that out, and it's been a lot of fun, but the problem with that is I hate submitting things at the end of deadlines, because I always feel like they're not going to read it because they've already filled. Yeah, there's a good chance. I got to worry about they're just like, oh, I have enough. We'll take a look, quote unquote, but we don't care. But this was a unique enough theme. I don't think it would get full, but because they pay, it's hit or miss. And here's a fucking shocker. So out of all the literary magazines I've submitted to, on a whim, because I saw Taco Bell Quarterly. Yeah. I thought it was a complete joke site, right?
Right.
It's not affiliated with Taco Bell at all, but they use the Taco Bell logo, and it's just everything's taco themed and it's goofy. And I was like, oh, this isn't real. I'm just going to write a fucking, a slapstick kind of story, then like a real goofy story with a literary flair. So I submitted it, and then, I don't know, within the last month, I actually went on their Twitter profile, and it's like they have like 38,000 followers or something. A very active engagement, like crazy active. And they were voted like the best literary journal this year or some shit. And from like different, whatever fucking publications put those lists together. But they got like a couple of things where they're like the number one out of, and I looked at the list and I was like, oh wait, these other ones are very legit. I've submitted to them and got rejected. But not only is my story still pending, but they posted a few things about like, oh, we've got almost 3,000 submissions we still got to go through, and this many are in the possible acceptance range and stuff. And then it's like keeps dwindling down, and they're like, "Oh, if you haven't gotten rejected by now, you might have a chance." And so yeah, I'm probably still get rejected, but the fact that I'm still pending,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's not because like those people that get rejected by they take pride in it and they post the rejection letter, and it's like a big thing. So a lot of people just submit just to get rejected. I'm like, well, if I'm still pending, there's like a chance. Like at least I made it into the from how many fucking thousands to whatever they're at now. It's like I made it into that.
It's like you made it past the first couple games of Squid Games.
Yeah, like the first few rounds. Because the lady, she said on there, it was like if you're still pending, you're in like the top 4% or something.
Ooh.
It's like, well, that's good. So I at least have something, and that one pays $100.
Yeah,
for a story. I was like, that's why so many people submit to it, I think. But I am I'm looking forward to hearing back from that. It should be this week or next week. And if I get that, I'm gonna rub it in Bryce's face.
Oh,
yeah.
This is
Taco Bell.
Like Tito Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. To be fair, I feel like my Taco Bell story came out really good.
Yeah.
Because it's so ridiculous on first read, but then it's like, oh wait, there's deeper stuff. Because I threw in the literary flair. It's about miscarriage.
Ooh.
But tacos. But also miscarriage. I actually want to read it on air sometime, but
maybe if it doesn't get accepted.
I could read the opening. How about just the opening paragraph just to give you a feel?
All right.
It's pretty shitty in a good way.
Oh yeah?
I think so. Like I even threw in like one thing about how the place used to be a bunch of different restaurants that they're in. So there's like shitty like Jamaican flag and dragon stencils on the wall from it was a Chinese place. And then like even the board, like the table they're eating off of, half of it's like a shitty desert scene, the other is like a Dickensian winter's London. And so I threw in pompous ass things like that. So here's the very opening of this.
All right.
It's called Because of Taco.
Okay.
4 spritzes of colon cologne soured the entire poor taco lobby. It was a grade A beefer, but there wasn't a single patron who gave the offensive rectal perfume a second whiff. At the back end of the joint sat a down-in-the-dumps couple who weren't quite enjoying their mealy corn and meat foodstuffs. And then it goes on from there, but it's one of those ones you're like, oh, that's fucking obnoxious. But then there's deeperness. Like I said, there's miscarriage.
I mean, anytime when you can basically turn a FUD into perfume.
That's good. That's good. But I think that wraps it up for me. I don't think I got anything else noteworthy. What about you? So last year's goals that you don't remember.
Yeah.
Did you hit them?
Well, I wasn't. Again, I don't know if you went back and listened to the episode.
I said I did not.
Yeah.
I said it multiple times.
But I'm saying I'm just talking to the audience. That I don't remember like you exactly what I said, but I probably wasn't as lofty as goals as you. That just tends to be me. But I think it was more of just actually actively trying to get into submitting more just in general. Yeah. Because before this year I haven't really did any, if maybe other than like maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Still this year I didn't submit as much stuff as I probably should have, or
really not till the end of the year.
Yeah.
The second half of the year.
Right. But I did get a couple of the submissions turned out well and got approved with because me myself also has an anthology coming out in the beginning of the year that you can pre-order now for the digital, and hopefully
you can announce it now.
Yeah, the Gridiron Gates of Hell.
Yeah, you don't even know the fucking.
Well, I couldn't remember the exact.
If you go on Amazon, you can pre-order the Kindle version for $5.99. It's Gridiron Gates of Hell.
Yeah, and
it's a football-themed horror anthology. And there's also going to be a print version, I think, that comes out not too long after.
Right. He in his post, the guy putting it together said hopefully by like playoff seasons, which would be in a few weeks. So
yeah,
hopefully. And all the profits are going to charity. So
yeah, that's cool.
That's
too.
That's a good thing. And then
that's a longer story too. Yeah, for that.
Yeah, that's a bigger story. I have a smaller, more like a flash fiction kind of story coming out in a horoscope kind of collection.
Like a special collection, I think.
You
actually got accepted before I even submitted.
Right, yeah.
Which we fucked up. I remember fucking up. Like, we didn't know, like, we didn't realize, like, you had to have a sign for the story that
like an actual, we just thought it was like, oh, that's an interesting name to put, like, horror as your title,
But I think what it actually came down to, because like you said, it was flash fiction. She probably didn't want. I mean, because like the poetry's usually already just one page,
right.
So if you're trying to fill out a page count too, do you really want to take up? Because she only Harriet, she only posts 3 stories or poems or usually a combination per sign.
Yeah.
So you get like 36 total pieces, and it's like, do you want to waste a sign? One of the sign spots because that one was real popular. There's a lot of submissions. Do you want to waste a spot on a flash fiction story?
Right.
Probably not. So I think she just boosted you to like because she's doing, from what I understand, a special edition. I think it's going to be 4 books that is like a compilation of the works from each volume, because there's 4 volumes.
Yeah.
And I think each one will have special news stories and poems as well, and yours is going to be one of those.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's like the first one.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So I would have 2 and they're
both
in the
print,
year.
so yeah, that'd be cool too.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Well, what are you? 2, 1, and 1. So
something like that. Yeah,
because you have a pending submission, so we'll call it a draw for now.
Right.
You got rejected. The first story you submitted was to like a sci-fi thing.
Right.
It was like one of the bigger sci-fi things we could find that was accepting work.
And the thing that I submitted, I probably shouldn't have.
I don't even remember what it was. Probably hot garbage or something.
It was the Space War story.
Oh, was it Space? It wasn't Space. There was no way you submitted Space War story.
No. Okay, no. Was it it was like the
wasn't that bad.
It was the janitor.
Space janitor.
Yeah, the space janitor story.
Yeah, but it was it was like science fiction and fantasy magazine. It was like one of the top ones.
Right.
So I was like, even if it was amazing, you're probably not getting in. But we were just testing the waters there. Was that even this year or was that before this year?
That might have been before this year.
Yeah. But regardless, on the actual serious submissions, you're pretty 100% right now.
Well, I mean, yeah, well, we'll see. I'm sure that won't last forever.
No.
Yeah.
You'll be like me with 100 plus fucking rejections.
So, like, I feel good. I feel good about that. Going forward, there is this particular submission for an anthology that I'm really trying to hunker down and get started on that, because it has an up to a 10,000 word count, and it's also another pay by the word.
That one pays a lot too, so that's gonna be one of those. That's gonna be some competition,
right? Yeah,
that's gonna be like a lofty one where if either of us got into it, it'd be pretty incredible.
It'd be good at
the way I figure at least when I go into one of those ones, it's like, it's very unlikely I'm going to get into this, but even if I don't, since I worked extra hard on the story because I wanted to be a really good story, you at least have a really good story that you can submit somewhere else.
Yeah, submit someplace else or put out on your own or whatever.
But damn, would it be nice to get that one, because that's like I don't think it's an indie press. It's like a small press maybe or something, but yeah, I think they pay like 4 cents a word.
Yeah,
so
and if you get that 10,000 words, like.
Ooh. I always wonder about those though. Do they like purposely reject some stories out of 10,000 just because like, this is good,
but we're not paying them?
I'm not paying them $400.
But so like that, like I said, I'm really trying to gear down and to get that because it will take me a while to get 10,000 words.
That's due by March too, I believe. But weren't you writing a story or thinking of a story for that writer's retreat?
I was, but then I kept on getting sidetracked with it and stuff, and it's not gonna be done in time.
When is the I don't remember.
It was like the end of the month, so yeah.
I think it is like January 1st or something.
But other than that, continuing to just try to find more submissions with you, which you've been helping, sending me different links to other people.
The horoscope people, because I'm in both, since I'm accepted in horoscope, I'm in both groups, horoscope 3 and 4, and there's a few writers in there who keep sending, they just put, hey, here's a cool submission.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it sucks in the way that now I'm competing with all those people because they're probably submitting to those too. But at the same time, it's great because I didn't know about any of those.
Right, yeah.
I'm not, like, not that active on social media, and I'm not that deep in the indie scene or the small publishers and stuff, so it's really cool. That's how I found Diabolic Press.
Yeah.
Someone, I think it was Harriet actually put it in her story, because she's good for that. She'll put it in her story. It's like, hey, here's submissions. She won't even know who they are. Just she sees that here's open submissions, and she has a lot of writers who follow her. It's like, go ahead.
Yeah. I would say I'm going to try to put some numbers on things. I want to get anywhere between like the five, maybe a couple more actual submitted into actual, not legitimate's not the right word, but things where we've that you're excited to, if it's another anthology or magazine or
Not
something
just like a
that.
bullshit blog
Something on, and not that I wouldn't be okay with having something published on just online, but if it's credible, if it looks good
Oh
quality.
yeah, if you get in like the fucking I don't know, like I can't think of any now. The fucking Mississippi Review or Missouri Review or something. Everyone I'm naming is a fucking print book.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So if you get like a serious one that's online, like it's cool, but it's the same thing. It's just that's how I thought. Like I wasn't excited about really any of the publications I got at the beginning because like Spank the Carb, I didn't know that was hard to get into until after because Bryce submitted that like 10 times in a row and got rejected. To the point I think the guy was just like, "Stop,
please quit. Stop. He's already dead."
Yeah, it's just like it was online, and then the next few were online. Like one was like the Coalition Works. I mean, that was cool because it was one of those like flip online,
right? Yeah,
which is a little better done, but it's not a book. Yeah, I want to be in a book.
What's also too, it's kind of like when you tell people, your friends or whatever, it's like, hey, I'm in this thing. They might order the book,
yeah,
and they might never open the fucking thing and read your story, but at least like they bought the thing.
And you can put it on your shelf. Yeah. And it's like my goal, this is a more lofty goal, is to have a Caleb shelf.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Maybe it's a little pompous to have a shelf of your own books or your own work that you're in, but it's like, I want that.
Right. But I think, like I was saying, like, but to have them do, you have to go to this website and look at this thing, and, you have to sign up for their email address. Like,
well, the thing that I've kind of kicked myself with is, it was, I think, a writer that follows DPW that maybe we both follow. Or I know they follow DPW for sure. And she posted on her stories the horoscope thing. And I just happened to see it. And I kind of blew it off at first. I was like, I don't care about horoscopes, really. And then I was thinking about it. And I was like I think I was looking through and I saw like, oh, she does this seriously, like how she puts the books together and stuff. And then she ended up starting her own press, which is cool. January Ember Press. But I was just looking into it. I was like, hey, you know what? It might be fun to try it. So that's what really got me into like these specific themed works. And then I was like, oh, this is what's actually working for me.
Yeah.
Because fucking everything I've been doing up to that point of, oh, here's a story I like, I'm just going to shop it everywhere.
Yeah.
Does not work. Because when I got into Spank the Carp, it was because, funny enough, I just submitted because it was my story was called Temple Fish.
Yeah.
It was an old story I already had. And I was like, oh, it just has fish in the title and it's a fish magazine. I don't know. I never read it, but I'll submit it just because of that. But it turns out it didn't really have much to do with fish, the story. But it fit what they like the literary stuff they publish. But then I was looking into other things. I was like, maybe I should just start doing that. Yeah. Just submitting things specifically for these magazines and journals. But then I was like, if I do that, and I get rejected, like my Taco Bell story, if I get rejected, I can't submit that anywhere else.
Yeah, that's a weird.
No one's going to take a fucking taco story like that, like unless I find some really shit journal that just publishes funny stuff.
So putting it out yourself, but
yeah, well, I'll just put it on my website. That's my goal, is for anything that gets really rejected, I'm gonna put it on my website. But like the stories that I really like that I've been sitting on lately, like they keep getting rejected from the big ones, and I can't find any anthologies that take That's the problem with the genre stuff: horror, crime, sci-fi, fantasy, romance. It's easy to find anthologies for all those.
Yeah.
The absurdist fiction I write sometimes, like I got an absurdist story. No. I got a slightly like literary, not horror, like a literary, slightly maybe absurd, almost like a Murakami type of story, like goofy. I can't find any anthology that would print that unless I could find a literary anthology, but it's not literary fiction. It's a weird in between. Like, I would imagine it would be like Kafka trying to shop around like Metamorphosis or something. Like, this isn't a genre, really.
It's its own thing.
Yeah, this isn't something that I'm going to be able to submit to because it's not literary fiction and it's not genre. It's just other, and people don't want other. At least not that I found like McSweeney's does, but they're one of the fucking top things in the world. Like, you can't get it.
They don't want your other.
They don't want my other. So that's a bit of a struggle, but I definitely think that we will be submitting a lot more into anthologies because besides the fact that we're having success with it, like the quality of work that I've been seeing from this is like, okay. Like I want to be associated with if like you get sometimes you might get an acceptance. Like I got that literary stories. I'm like, I don't fucking care about like it's some online thing. I was like, they just print everybody. Like I don't.
It's nice for the credit, but it's like what it's no.
Yeah, I mean mine was just like a fucking flash fiction story, so I wasn't worried. I think that's all they took, but I was just like, that's not a real big. That's not. But if I can get something that's like quality, like you look at the horoscope book, like the hardback cover,
it's
I have
good quality.
yeah, it's real nice, it's put together. It's formatted really well. Stories are good, so I'm just like I want to get into stuff like that. So I think for like I said previously on multiple episodes now, I'm going to be focusing on a lot of genre stuff. I'm still going to submit some literary stuff, or if I can find like some of the literary journals do like summer theme and you know floating butterflies is the thing. I can maybe knock out something for those, but I think where my wheelhouse is and what people seem to enjoy of my work is the stuff that's more genre specific.
Yeah.
Though I'm interested to see how people will take my fantasy story because I wrote that in almost a Bradbury lyrical prose style. I wrote it in a very weird way. I think it fits the story, but it's just it's a different read, you know?
Right.
And maybe that was a little bit because I've been reading fucking epic poems for the last fucking 8 months. So I kind of wrote some stuff like that.
And then Jerusalem before that, which is its own kind of weird.
Yeah. But I find I do gravitate towards that kind of writing. I think people probably enjoy my more basic writing. Like if I have like the one thing I submitted to the writer's retreat, if that story gets published, that story would be something that I think a lot of just general readers would like because one, it's horror, two, it's got gross stuff, but like the writing's not complicated. There's I didn't use alliteration and a bunch of nonsense like that. It's just a straightforward. I mean, I still, I wrote it up. I like to write things up, but I didn't do it in such a way where you read it, it's like, God damn, this guy's purple. Like,
right.
This guy just get to the fucking point, because I do like writing stuff that sometimes the language is the point. Like the way you're just saying it or way you're describing something is more the point than the story, which that's where you get into the literary fiction area. But then at the same time, I want the story itself to be fun, or something interesting, unlike literary fiction, which is usually fucking boring.
Yeah.
So you want to what's your publication goal?
I would want to be I want to be accepted in at least like another like 5 to like 7 decent,
things.
Now, granted, chances are like those won't be, coming out until the probably the next year, give or take, just the way the things go.
Well, the way I'm categorizing the years, just because things do take a long time, is just the acceptance counts as the publishing,
right? Yeah,
for me, which would suck if, say, Diabolic Press just doesn't publish.
Yeah,
and it's like, well, fuck, I didn't get published in it, even though I got accepted, and then I would just have to take it off. But I will say just the acceptance counts.
Yeah. Because
it's just easier. Because like fucking the one thing for horoscope, you might not be into the one that comes out at the end of the year.
Right.
Almost next fucking February.
Yeah.
Like you don't know which one you're going to be in.
And then you can find a submission that is like you get it done right up and they might have the book out in a couple months. It's just, you never really know.
Well, you have to remember, though, because, 5 to 7, I don't think is too ambitious.
Yeah.
It's just, where is your writing speed going to be?
Right, yeah.
Like, are you going to be actively knocking out? Because if you work on this story, are you going to work on it till March?
Right, yeah.
Or are you going to have it done by the end of February?
Yeah. Yeah, that's my thing. I have to, I don't know, I have to find a way to train myself up and get more of not only taking more time to write, but also getting more writing done in that time. And I think I find out I might have to start just becoming kind of more of an outliner a little bit.
So you know where you're going?
Because I feel like that keeps me going. Because a lot of times I'll literally I'll spend 5 minutes just looking at the screen with my hands on the keyboard
Well, you've seen some of the stories I've been working on lately. I've done a brain dump before I start. So Like that one maggot story, I had the whole story, just like the basic bones. I just wrote real quick notes, just the whole thing, beginning to end, how it goes. And then I'm just like, okay, I won't be stuck anywhere because I fill it in, but if I need to know where it's going, here's where it's going.
And then if I come up with something better, you can always go that way, but you have that thing to kind of, this is what I'm writing towards. Like, this is why I'm not like in a block or a slump, because I'm trying to be like because like that's what kind of happened with that AI story for the retreat that I was working on. Like in my head, I kind of had a loose idea of what I wanted, but whenever I was going to write it, I kept on just finding myself stuck on like, okay, what's the thing that happens next? What am I actually trying to write? You know what I mean? So
sometimes it's hard to connect scenes together too.
Yeah.
So it's like you're going from scene A to scene B, but to connect it naturally if you have a specific word count and it's not a high word count, then it's like, okay, how do I do a transition that's natural without being so jarring as he got knocked out and then he woke up in a warehouse. And it's like, well, is that what we're doing with every scene?
Yeah.
Is it just like a big cut and then we're just somewhere else? Or are we gonna then he went out, got in his car and drove to the warehouse or the people dumped him. I mean, sometimes just the knockout and wake up's fine, but you can't do it every scene.
Right.
And that's a little bit of a challenge when you have word counts, because like that's where I always come into trouble. You always wonder why I overwrite so much. It's because it's all those connectors.
Yeah.
It's like I want the scenes to flow together, but it's like, God damn it, I always end up still doing like, the 4-star break where it's like, okay, we're just in a different scene.
Well, yeah, I don't mind doing that. I actually kind of like doing that, like having that little break.
Yeah.
And then also too, because like, I also like reading stories like that too, because like if I'm
It's
out,
like a chapter break. You can just take
it's a little break that will like, okay, I have to get back from my lunch or whatever. Like you haven't maybe finished the whole chapter, but it gives you a good place to stop,
Yeah.
But then I would also, probably not to have it finished, and I don't even know really what it would be, but almost something like your book, like a larger piece, as to just try to work on throughout the year, just to try to work on that. You know what I mean? Because
it's tough navigating that when you're doing it in the breaks from doing submissions. Because like where I find my problem is lately, which is not a problem, but it's like I write a story, I submit it somewhere, especially if I get accepted or if I just have to wait. And then it's like, okay, I can work on my novel now. And then I just go, wait, I have another idea, or I find another submission, and that's where I keep going. I keep finding some. Now I found too many.
Yeah, right.
So like I'm just focusing on the closest one at hand, and then I'm just like, well, I'm gonna have to move on. So if I do that one that's due in March, a 10,000 word story, that's gonna by the time I finish the story I have now, which I said is due January 7th, that gives me a little. I don't remember when in March that was due, but that gives me almost 2 months to knock out the 10,000 word story, and I can knock it out quicker. But lately I've been writing in just like paragraph spurts. So it's like, Monday through Friday, I'll write maybe 2 paragraphs, and it's very slow going that way. But at the same time, it adds a couple thousand words by, in a 7-day stretch, which isn't bad. But then it's like, for a 10,000 word story, that'd be pushing it. Like I have to get more. It also makes it kind of inconsistent, because then I have to do a lot more editing to make it more natural. Because it's like, oh wait, because I took such a break in between this and that, and I don't know. It's tricky. I need to get into actual like, okay, I'm gonna write for 2 hours at home.
Yeah.
Like not at work or on lunch or when I have a minute before bed. Like I need to sit out and just actually on my laptop write for because I could finish the story now if I did that.
Yeah.
Like in a couple 2-hour chunks, I'd probably have the story written, edited, and submitted. But it's just like my brain doesn't want to
do that.
Well, it's after work. I'm so tired. My brain never wants to fucking function.
Especially this time of year. It's really rough this time of year. And then other than that, as the always goals of the the elusive short story collection or something like that. Because I think that would be cool to have a book out of just us and Ashley, or if we get Bryce throw in a couple poems or something like that.
Well, I think the collection that we have together is going to transform when we do that, because just not just the amount of work we have, but now that we get some submissions published, it's like maybe we want to include those, Because, every time you get published, you get the rights back and stuff.
Yeah.
You just have to say in the anthology, this was first published, but that makes it more legit, in my opinion.
Yeah, I do like that.
When I read an anthology, I was like, oh, this story was published in the New Yorker. I'm like, fucking nice.
Well, that's what I always liked, because like a lot of times, Stephen King, like in his short story collections, either like at the beginning or the end of the story, he'll give like, there'll be like a couple paragraphs of him just like talking about the story, maybe like where he got the idea or like where it was previously published at and stuff like that. Like this issue of Playboy or wouldn't that be nice if Playboy took stories still?
They used to have really good stories.
Could you imagine if we got published in Playboy?
That'd be awesome. Yeah. It means nothing now.
No, but
nobody would give a shit now. Like Playboy is just like the old saggy tit you see at last call in the bar.
Yeah. Which is weird because they don't even do. Had they gone back to the nudes?
I think so, but nobody cares.
Yeah. Once you go away, nobody cares when you come back.
No.
But yeah, those are kind of like the main things. Like I try to I think people who've listened, to the podcast, the 2 or 3 people know it's like, like I said, like I try not to go as lofty. Even in my reading goals, it's like set the goals light. So then when I surpass them and then go over them, it's like that's even a bigger accomplishment.
Yeah, set them reasonable. Well, we'll end on this. I don't know if it's a coincidence or if it's a direct reflection of our writing success, but as you notice, as this year, started winding down around the fall and we started getting acceptances and books coming out and stuff, all of a sudden people wanted to come on the show.
Yes.
And we get nonstop fucking guest requests. So I don't know if that has to do with if it just lined up that way for whatever reason, or if people are like, oh, this guy's published it.
What's that, Kisnip or isn't that like a
Kismet or something stupid?
Yeah, like just things that like almost kind of like serendipity, or would that be a better?
Stop saying movie shitty romance rom-coms. That's where he heard these terms.
Yeah,
that's definitely where he heard them.
Forgetting so much. So now I'm just saying movie titles.
I don't know if it's serendipitous. I do like saying that word though, serendipity. It's like soliloquy. I like saying soliloquy. But regardless, I think our newfound successes have maybe bled over into the podcast where people are like, oh, those guys are at least somewhat legit. They're published.
Yeah.
Versus all the years where we're just sitting here talking about writing and everyone's like, oh, fucking losers ain't published. Well, I'm going to listen to them talk about writing. But anyway, folks, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. May 2024 bring all your dreams to fruition. And we might eventually finish The Divine Comedy in 2024. If you like us and want to give us a share and a follow and a subscription dingle and click the bell,
the thumb up,
and
subscribe, and smash the subscribe button,
smash the subscribe button, and then also hit the dingle so you get the notifications, because if you don't do that, apparently the subscription doesn't matter. None of it matters to me because I don't follow the YouTube at all. I don't even post video. I just post the audio of the podcast. So I don't give a fuck what you do. If you want to be nice and generous for the new year, you can like and review us on Apple, iTunes stuff, and whatever else you come. I don't know, whatever app you use, it has a review button. Give us a whopping 5-star or 4. You can give us a 4 because people actually believe 4.
Oh yeah,
do they believe 5? I'd never do.
No.
So if I see 5, I'm suspicious. I see 4, I'll be like, okay, that's got merit.
But like that person knows that person he's giving that 5 stars to.
Yeah, that's usually what it is. And you can also follow Spencer. His OnlyFans. He is the Saigon succubus. He's sucking guys in Saigon.
No.
Dude.
Saigon succubus seducer. Remember? Yeah.
So you're not the one sucking the souls of men out of their no parts?
No, I'm sucking.
Is that how that works? Is that how they suck it, or they just beat them down until they? Is that just called?
I think you're describing marriage, isn't it?
Marriage. You just get beat down day by day until you're just this fucking worn out husk of a man. Is that just daily marriage? I mean, Nelson Mandela couldn't handle being married, and he was in jail for like 80 years. Like, come on. If you want to follow me and my publication history, you can check out calebjamesk.com. For the new year, I'm actually gonna probably, like a guy going to the gym for the first time, I'm going to be real hardcore about updating my site for maybe a month. Then you won't hear from me anymore. Thank you for listening and Happy New Year. We will check you next week with, I don't know what our episode is, but something.
Something.
Bryce, what are you doing?
Trying to, game.
What?
This game is really hard.
Pac-Man?
Yeah.
Dude, you're supposed to be playing the game for next week's episode of Arcade Bookshop.
I mean, I will. I'm really close to beating this.
Right. And what about the book?
Huh?
We're supposed to finish a book for the podcast too?
Oh yeah, I finished that last week. Yes!
Oh, did you finally beat it?
Uh-huh. The first level.
Oh boy.
Listen up now, when the leave on, get ready for an arcade show. With your phone, play a game, check it out. Don't be lame, listen up now, when the leave on, get ready for an arcade bookshop.
You can listen to new episodes of Arcade Bookshop every other Monday on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you get your pods. You'll always find us with a controller in one hand and a book in the other.
Hey, Caleb, you wanted to see me?
Ah, Spencer, my good fellow. I've been expecting you.
Yeah, so did you want something or
Want? Goodness no. Require.
require?
Yes. I require your services for the briefest of moments.
Okay.
Surely you can see the predicament I'm in.
Well, actually, no, I can't. I lost my glasses at the pub last night.
A pub, you say? Surely you can't be serious.
As serious as a fought during a recto, because I am. And stop calling me Shirley.
Rightio. Anyway, if your spectacles were affixed upon your face, you'd see that I, the host of the most prodigious writing and books podcast in the business, has been immobilized by a rather substantial stack of fallen folios.
What?
My to-read pile finally fell on me while I was taking a nap.
But you're on a podcast table.
I hardly see how that matters.
And you're naked.
I hardly see how that matters.
Dude, your hairy ass is touching my drink coaster.
I hardly see how that matters.
It matters to me.
Can you just unbury me?
No way. Your reckless reading got you into this mess.
Blockhead! Wait! Don't go! There's a copy of War and Peace wedged in my taint. Spencer! Can you at least leave me a bottle of whiskey? Hello? Can't get enough drunken nonsense? Listen to new episodes of the Drunken Pen Writing Podcast every Tuesday wherever you get your pods.